Hey there, YouTube. Today is going to be the first in a series of Vegas video tutorials. I'm going to get into some of the basics on how to create a video using Vegas Video. Now, I've got version 10, and I know they've got a couple of newer versions out since then. However, what I'm going to show you hasn't changed. They've added some other features, but this is the basic type of stuff. This is your main screen, and down here you have places here where you can drop videos, and then the audio would go into here, and they're currently labeled as voice, music, sound effects. And you can add more or less depending on which version of Vegas that you have. In this particular version, the HD suite, I can go up to 10 layers of video and 10 layers of audio. If you've got the lower tier, it's 4, and if you have the production version, it's unlimited. So anyway, my friend Mitch and I were out one day. We were kind of bored, and we shot some video. If I click on this, you can see the preview here, and you can see he's setting up a camera on the side of my car. And then over here, we've got some video shot from the outside, and then there's some video that we shot where we had flipped the camera upside down, but we didn't change the point of view. So it gives us the opportunity to experiment with different things in Vegas. Okay, in the first video, Mitch is setting up the camera, and he does it several times. He pushes me out of the shot here. He comes back in and sets it up. He's a perfectionist, and this is a video we thought we were going to do. It didn't turn out good enough for what he wanted, so we never did anything with it, but the footage is great for us to do this little creation. So I'm decided that I want to use this first one as the opening clip. So I'm going to drag it down here to the first section of video and just drag it into place, and it will go and build any audio peaks, and we're not really too interested with the audio here. Now, as I roll the mouse wheel, if I click on here, I can zoom in and zoom out to get more details. I can also take this slider and I can move it around to get to different parts in the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over here by clicking, and then I'm going to hit play. And if this thing looks a little jerky, it's because at the same time I'm doing this tutorial, I'm also recording the screen, and it's a lot of processing power. But I go ahead and play the video, and I find the point on here, right about here. Now, this area right here is where I want to be. Okay, there's an open screen, so I don't want any of this in front of it. Now, there's two things I can do. I can take this and drag it forward like this, or to make sure that I've cut this off, I can hit the S key, which is split. Now it's cut this piece, and I can click on it and hit the delete key, and now it's been removed. You'll notice that the video jumped to this position, and that's because I have this little button up here clicked. So I'm going to undo this, and you see here's the split. If I remove this, turn this off, now if I delete this video, you see this doesn't move, and you can move it in. This is handy if you've got a bunch of clips all in a row and you want to make sure you drag them all together. And we'll be toggling this on and off several times. Okay, after examining this a little bit more, I found out this is the place I really want to start at. The rest of this, he did this 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to hit S to split. I'm going to click on this and hit the delete key, which leaves me with this short piece. I'm going to slide it over here, and we can click here, and we can hit play, and we can take a look. Now remember, it might look a little jumpy in here, but that's because this is recording this video as it's doing this. Normally it'd be pretty smooth. So he comes in, he puts the clamp on there, he looks at it, sets the camera, and then he goes into the car. And then right there, I want to cut. That's where I want this to end. I want it to be very quick, where he just jumps into the car. So I'm going to hit S for split and delete this. And now I've taken this very long frame and I've shortened it down into a very useful snippet. And I'm going to continue to do that with these and lay out all the pieces that I want to join. And then once I have them on here, I'll bring you back in and we'll go to the next step. In the next scene, we've got Mitch coming out and turning the camera on and then getting in the car. And at that point, I then take off and drive. Well, we've already got footage of him setting up the camera, which I like. So what we're going to do is we're going to just skip ahead to where the door is closed. And right about here, I take off and start driving. So what I want to do is I want to get to right at that point where he's closed the door, right when I get ready to drive, and I want to get rid of the rest of this. So I can roll the mouse wheel to zoom in a little bit more, and it'll center on the cursor. I can move this over and get it to where he's just closed the door, and here's right where I start to move. So now what I can do is I could split it, but I also want to just show you this. I can bring this over like that, and see now it starts at this point, and I can slide it over here. Now, because I'd like these to merge together fairly seamlessly between this and this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to slide them together until they overlap a little bit. And you see this overlap will cause a fade. So if I hit this, play, it looks like one continuous video now. All right, it's been spliced together. Now I know we haven't done a lot, but I've already started to do some work and I don't want to lose my work. So at this point, I'm going to go up to Project, tell it Save As. We're going to put that right there. Okay, so now I've got it saved. I can work on the next step. Well, we've got this video here, and it shows me driving along. And basically what I do is go through a big puddle that was there and make a big splash. Okay, and then when we get to here, that's pretty much the end of it. He gets out and we shut the camera off, and that's about it. We do several other runs, but I don't want to show all of that because it's kind of like, boring, redundant to watch several different takes of the same thing. So what I want to do is I want to come up here to right at the point where we stopped, like when we get to about here, just before we stop. And I want to split this out, okay? And then up here we make another run. We turn the car around and we get ready to head back down and do it again. And it kind of looks neat doing the turnaround. So I want to come here and I want to cut this out and then cut this center section out. So you see now we've got two sections that I can play with, and you can see that here, if you look at the sound, you can see that this is where I slow the car down and come to a stop, and he gets back out of the car. Now in this clip, you can see that Mitch was actually sticking a camera to the outside of the car. We thought we would use that, but instead what I want to do is I just want to go to this footage. This is taken from outside looking in, and it's kind of an interesting shot. So I want to use it, and then further down I've got this shot from inside the car, which is upside down, and if I flip it over, I should be able to go between this and this one, which were shot at the same time, and be able to kind of give it a little bit more dynamics. Now, I know that I want to use the footage here, so I can take this and I can drag it down. Now, when I do this, you notice that the sound has overlaid on top of this. I can move it out of the way into another soundtrack temporarily. Now, if I want to synchronize these so that my outside view and my inside view are the same, I've got this lovely engine noise, and I can take this and I can slide it around and get these to line up. And by doing that, I can make sure that the events going on inside and the events going on outside are the same, and I can cut between them. But for right now, I'm going to move this out of the way, just move it up into this slot, and then pick out the sections that I want. And now I'll come back to the rest of this later. So I'm going to move this back out of the way and slide it over here, and then I'll figure out where I want to put it. So you can see that right here the engine noise kind of lines up. So this was probably taken at the same location, same time. So what I want to do is I want to look at this footage. You can see we're in the water here, and right about here is when we first hit the water. We're just coming up to it, and so right about here we're going to hit the water. So let's say I want to put a marker there. I can zoom in even more and get to the exact point where we hit the water. There we go. Now I can hit M for marker, and I can put in hitting the water, first pad, or just leave it hitting the water. So now I've got this marker there. Okay, so now I can take this footage and I can look at it, and I can find out right here where we're hitting the water. I can bring this over here and line it up. Now, because this track is on top, what you'll end up seeing is this track and not the track below it. So what we have to do is we have to start cutting these tracks up. Now, in this case, I've made the decision that the video here that was taken from the side of the vehicle has a lot better engine noise and a lot better sound than this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit right click, and I'm going to go group, remove from. And now what I've done is I've made this video and this soundtrack two independent items. So I can hit delete and get rid of that soundtrack. So now when I play this video, we're only getting the outside sound, which is a really good sound. Now I may replace that later, but this is what I want right now. Now this is a good area right here. Returning, you're getting some interesting shadows off of the camera. So what I want to do is right about here is split this out and delete this. Then I want to bring this in, and I want a significant amount of fade. So see, I've got about a second of fade there. So when I play this, it's going to come in here and it's going to fade out, and then it's going to go to this scene where we're heading back down again, and we'll hit the water again. And then right here we'll fade it out. And for me to fade this out is very simple. I just drag this back like this, and that's a fade out. So we'll do like 3 seconds, which is a fairly long fade. And it'll go like this, and it'll fade out. And this footage has two big deals to it. Number one, it's upside down. Obviously, we have to fix that. Number two, the microphone is inside of the vehicle, so it's going to have a different sound to it, and we might want to capture that as he starts going go, 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 and I want to hear that, so we may end up switching some audio tracks. So first off, what I want to do is we've got our main video back here, and we've got this little snippet that we saved. I'm going to come out here kind of in this open area and use it as like a sketch pad, drop this in, and when I click on the video, you'll be able to see it's upside down. So if we come over to this little device right here, we can go ahead and click on it, and it brings up this other screen. And this other screen is very powerful. It lets us do a few things. You can use your mouse wheel and scroll out. First thing I want to address is that it's upside down, obviously. So I can come over here. This turns into a little circular motion type of thing. I can flip this around, and when I do, you'll notice the video here has been flipped the right way. I can also bring it in like this if I want to zoom in. Of course, you got to be careful, because if you go in too far, it'll get pixelated. But I'm just going to bring it in enough to make sure that I've got none of the white edges showing, and that should be good. So now this video is right side up, and it's looking pretty good. And I can pick sections of it and drop that into my other remaining video. All right, so right here, that's a good ending point. I'm going to split that out. I want to save that little piece of video. And this is what it takes when you're doing video. You've got to go through it. You've got to pick out the parts that you want to use and delete everything else. Yeah, so that's the only section I want. The rest of this I'm going to just throw away. So I hit the delete key. That's gone. So now we have the pieces that I want to work with. Yeah, right here. That's what I want. I want this little section right here down. And the audio is going to change, but you know what? I think it's going to work. I'll overlap it a little bit so it does this little bit of a subtle fade from one to the other. We'll drag this over and stick it in. We'll drag this over here. And I'm going to fade out with that, and I'm going to call that my video. The video is a minute and 18 seconds. That's not bad. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to work on the title page next. Well, I've found out that YouTube has a very nice library of free music that you can use, and there's some other sites that I grab music from as well. But I picked this particular piece, and if I click on it, so that's the music that I want. I'm going to take it and drag it down here to this music track. And you see that it's longer than my entire video. So that's good. That means that I can have music playing and basically just make this a very enjoyable kind of, you know. So I'll have the music and I'll have the events going on. Now this music is kind of loud and I don't want it to overpower. So what I can do is grab here and drag down a little bit. You see I can make the music lower audio. Let's really drag it down and show you. So you can sit here and you can grab this little bar and you know set it up the way you want it. You've got your little bars here to tell you how loud it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on media generators. And this comes up with all kinds of different things that you can throw in here. But we're going to go to text. And this particular text here is one that I use all the time. It's called soft shadow. It's got a little shadow around the text, and these checkerboards means transparency. What that means is if I were to throw it here, for example, and I'll close this for right now, you see that the text will appear over top of the video. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it all the way to the beginning. Then I'm going to click on this, which just popped up. And you can see that it's set for 10 seconds. Well, I think 10 seconds is a little bit long. I don't want 10 seconds, so I'm going to set it for 5 seconds. So I set this for 5 seconds. And now my title, I'm just going to call it Goofing Off. We're just using this for the tutorial here. Now I can go up in here and change the fonts and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just going to leave it for right now. So you see I've got Goofing Off and it's black because there's no video underneath of here. I could go to a solid color. Over here I could drop a solid color in like this, pick the tone of the color, and then we would have this showing up over the color. But instead, what I think I'm going to do is just have this title over Mitch putting the thing on and then have it fade out. I think that's going to work out very nicely. And I noticed something. You see that little peg right there? This is the text repeating. I had set it for 5 seconds, but it was originally 10 seconds long, so this is that 5-second point actually. So I'm going to grab here, bring it over till it ends. So now I get that 5 seconds, and I'm going to make this so it doesn't fade out as abruptly. And I actually want it to fade in the beginning. In fact, I want this to fade in with it. So I'm going to go like this, and I want the music to fade in too, so I can drag it over. And while I'm dragging things, I'll do this one. So now everything will fade in. And then right about here is a good part for the music to fade out because our video is going to end here. And we've got a lot of music, and I don't need all that music. At that natural break, I want this to fade out like that. And I want this to start fading out as well. And then at that point, I want to drop in my little tagline. And I've already got that created, so all I need to do is drag it in. So I'm going to save it. And now that I've saved it, I just go to Make Movie. And it's going to save it to my hard drive. Now I will browse to my Vegas tutorial video, call it Mini Movie, hit Save, and hit Next. And you see now it's rendering. And depending on how long your video is, it could take a while. I've had some of them take a couple of hours. So at this point, we'll let it render, and we'll take a look at it as soon as it's done. Okay, so the video has finished rendering. It didn't take that long. It only took about 6 minutes or so. And we've got the whole thing, so now I can take this project. I'm going to save it again, just in case I need to come back to it. Go ahead and close it out. If you don't close it out, it's not a big deal, but next time you open Vegas, it'll pull all that stuff in, and if you want to jump right into editing, you might not want that. So I always save it and close it. Done with Vegas, close it out, and now I'll show you the video that we made. And I hope the tutorial helped you out, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.